Hi, welcome back. I've talked about the lifetime allowance quite a lot in my videos, and here we are again at the start of the 2024-25 tax year. And the good news is, ta-da! The lifetime allowance has been abolished from the 6th of April 2024. The LTA was introduced by the Labour government in 2006 to limit the amount people could have in their registered pension schemes. The original limit was 1.5 million, which was later increased to 1.8 million and then gradually reduced to last year's level of 1.073 million. It meant that anyone who had a pension fund over the lifetime allowance was potentially subject to a lifetime allowance tax charge of either 55% or 25%, depending on how the excess was treated. But in the 2023 spring budget, the Chancellor announced the abolition of the lifetime allowance from the 6th of April 2024 and the removal of the lifetime allowance tax charge from the 2023-24 tax year. Naturally, this opened the floodgates to a raft of questions from pension schemes and advisors wanting to get to grips with the changes. And it's fair to say that some of those questions remain unanswered. Even HMRC has acknowledged that there is more legislation and clarity needed. So what do we know? Well, the reason for abolishing the lifetime allowance was given in the government's policy paper as to incentivise people to remain in employment and to encourage people who have left to return. And most people agree that this was particularly aimed at senior NHS doctors and consultants with large final salary benefits who were leaving service early because they were unhappy about becoming liable for the LTA charge. But it also affects people who are maximising pension contributions into their SIP or their personal pension, or who have had particularly successful investments in their pension fund. So, abolishing the LTA is a good thing. But sadly, it's not that simple. Of course, it seems it never is when it comes to pensions legislation. Removing the LTA completely opened up the possibility of people being able to take much larger tax-free lump sums from their pension funds. And that was never going to happen. So HMRC has introduced a new allowance called the Lump Sum Allowance, or LSA. In plain English, it's your tax-free lump sum. And in simple terms, it restricts the amount you can take to, yep, that's right, 25% of the old LTA, or £268,275. And there's also a new lump sum and death benefit allowance, neatly shortened, yeah right, by HMRC to LSDBA. And yes, you've guessed it. It's the old LTA of £1,073,100. Anything paid out above that amount will be added to the beneficiary's income and taxed at their marginal rate. As I mentioned, the rules are complicated and still unclear in some areas. Even HMRC has admitted that. So watch this space for a follow-up when we feel a little more confident about who is affected and what people should be doing. And in the meantime, if you're concerned or you're unsure about your particular situation, you really should talk to your financial advisor. Some people will need to take some further action so they don't lose out, and it's good to check. Hope that helps. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.